Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my podcast. No cap, just raw. I never get tired of saying it. Today, guys, it's a new month, and we're back with the A Valued Girl series. And we're back with the same panel. I'm here with my girl, E. What's up, girl?
Hi, everybody. It's always a pleasure to be here and spill some gems.
Awesome. And today we are talking about de-influencing your dating life. Yes. And guys, this one, I'm telling you, ladies and gents, yes, even the gents, you need to get on this one as well. Open up your eyes and ears to hear this one because we have so much wisdom to impart on this topic, guys. So to start off with, I just want to say, like, what does that even mean? What does it even mean to, like, de-influence your dating life? Like, let's break that down just a little bit.
So, right now, we are in a technological age and the informational age where we are receiving so much input through social medias like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and we see that there are people pushing certain philosophies or sharing experiences that anyone who is a bit impressionable or looking to, I wouldn't say that they're actually like looking to mimic certain things, but people are idolizing certain lifestyles, certain relationships. They are looking towards social media and different platforms to formulate their dating life. Now, we've seen even TV productions where we are inspired by certain styles of dating or certain reality shows where we see certain styles of dating. And that's basically what the influence is. We see something and we want to be something, right? We aspire to be it or we aspire to not be it. So de-influencing is really looking at what you're looking at, what you're inspired by, and taking control over what you actually should be inspired by versus what you need to get out of your mind because it's not happening. It's not realistic and it's not meant for you.
Right. They do say, like, knowledge is power, so I guess, like, the more you know, the better off you'll be. Um, I believe that's true to a certain extent. You definitely don't want to expose yourself to anything and everything. So I think that, like, when it comes to dating, social media has definitely played a major role in shaping, what we look for, in a partner, or what kind of dating style, what's our dating style, or where she would go on the first date. Oh, if he takes you there, then he's not the one, and just things, all that crazy madness. And I mean, personally, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I think it can get a bit unhealthy. And I think when we think about de-influencing something, it's really to get it to a place of balance, and balance is health. So if you're de-influencing your dating life, you really want it to get it to a place of reality, balance, and of course healthy, making it healthy, having a healthy mindset and outlook on what dating should actually look like. I also want to throw in the fact that I grew up a lot, like, watching Disney princess movies and things like that, the fairy tale. I was very much drawn to that kind of thing, and so as I got older, I always imagined that I would have, like, a fairy tale wedding and meet the Prince Charming. I'm like, maybe he won't be a real prince in real life, but he'll be a prince to me, type of thing. So I kind of believe in fairy tales, but it's to say, like, that influence came from what I was seeing as a kid, what I grew up watching, and then no one ever told me, girl, that's not real, that'll never happen. I just kind of created my own imagination based on what I was seeing. So it influenced what I expected out of dating and finding the right person. So what do you think about that? What do you think about just how what we see, like personally, if that really could that be deemed as unhealthy, or everyone's entitled to their own opinion? It doesn't really matter.
Yes, I do see that sometimes when we are inspired by idealistic relationships that are pushed through media, or we're inspired by, I do see that it can become unhealthy. It's interesting that you were talking about the fairy tale romance, because that never really dies out. Like, we just have different versions of the fairy tale. We have different archetypes for couples. We'll have the power couple dynamic, or the, I guess, like the couple where the woman is the breadwinner. There's so many different archetypes, um, and they sell an image. And I, for one, I saw that even in my teenage years, beyond childhood, I would find these different archetypes that I idolized because I thought that would be a better suit for me, or that's something that I should aspire to be like. For example, one thing that people would tell me and that I would see images of is marry rich. Marry the rich guy, and just do this, do that. So I always kind of like looked at money as a big thing. And that's also a personal trigger for me, as far as like having money being first. That's something that I worked on personally, but also because of this reason, money comes before love. That's something that I always saw. So I look at these successful couples and I'm like, oh, well, what are they doing? Or what did that girl do? And you'll see examples of them and they're like, oh, well, I wouldn't marry a guy who wouldn't treat me on the first date, or who doesn't have this amount of money. And it started coming through social media a lot more. I mean, if you're using the internet, you have to realize that the internet works on algorithms. It's going to give you more of what you want at a faster pace. Life also does the same thing. Spiritually, life will actually manifest what you believe and show you examples of that. So I found those examples on social media quite often. And so I was always like prioritizing a lifestyle, materialistic lifestyle, over love, over compatibility. And it caused me to actually, by my own actions and what I was aspiring, I actually looked for that in relationships where it would be like, oh, well, I don't think that this guy is capable of providing. I don't think that, like it would cause issues. I would say that having certain idealistic influences from media can cause you to be unhealthy. Really I really do believe that I've lived it, and I know that other people who are susceptible to it as well, whether they are adolescents or young adults, they will do the same thing. And I see it all the time. I'll see shorts where people are defending a certain lifestyle or a certain toxic relationship, where I'm like, why are you, now that I think about it and I'm deprogrammed from it, I'm like, why are you defending this crappy relationship that's just for show, is so superficial? Like, oh, these dating shows where they get together and then everyone's like, oh, they should have stayed together, but the guy, he didn't have his stuff together. Or, for example, Vivica A. Fox, she didn't get into a relationship from a show, but I saw a tabloid or a headline about her breaking up with her fiance or boyfriend because he does not make more money than her. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is very interesting. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, like, we have to really take a step back and detoxify from what we're seeing, and really think about what we're seeing and what it really does for us.
Yes. There's two things about what you said, girl. I am like ready to go. So when you talked about power couples, a lot of things came into my mind, because we know that the whole Hollywood entertainment industry is like, it's just all for show. I didn't know that though as a child. There are these couples I used to see growing up. I'm like, oh, they're so cute, and oh my gosh, they've been together for this amount of years, and it's only years later that you find out that a lot of them were either in an open marriage, And for those of you who don't know what an open marriage is, that means they're swingers. They can do whatever they want. They're married, legally they're married, but they can do whatever they want outside of the marriage. They can be with, oh my gosh. All right, I'm back. They can do whatever they want outside of the marriage. They can sleep with whoever they want, whenever they want. And so I don't like open marriage, you know what I'm saying? I've never been for that sort of thing. I think my point in saying all this about these power couples is that, like, it's really sad that it's not real. And it's like, you have all these people who idolize these couples. Like, remember the whole Jelena era when Selena and Justin were the, heartthrob teen couple, and everyone thought that they were just perfect. They were so cute. They went on the little vacations together, frolicking on the beach, and I thought it was real. And it was only years later, after this whole 10-year on and off toxic relationship that they had, that we found out that the relationship was a farce. Like, it was just all for show, for publicity. I can't say, what they felt for each other, if it was real or not. I'm not in their hearts, but the relationship was toxic. There was some abuse involved in the relationship. And there's no surprise there because they were very young. So, they were still learning who they were as people. And it's not to excuse the behavior, but it's just to say, like, when you start off young, it's important, like you said, to take a step back, look at yourself, know who you are as a person, and know what you want and the person that you're looking for, that you want to date. This doesn't have to be, not everyone who dates is looking for marriage. Some people date because they want to get to know what their preferences are, what they like, what they're looking for in a person. And then some people date for marriage. Some people are dating with the goal of getting married. I want to get engaged. I want to get married. I want to start a family. I've never really been into, dating for dating. I always been into the idea of dating someone, and then we can, we can go from there. We can get married. We can have children, and build a family. Because I think it's a big deal. Connecting with someone is a huge deal. It's sacred, and you shouldn't take it lightly, And then also with speaking to what you said about, I had an example of a power couple. I think about Candace Owens. Candace Owens, and how she talked about her dating lifestyle and who she ended up with. And I bring that up because I was always told to date outside of my race, my ethnicity. That was so annoying, though, Key, how I was constantly told to marry outside of my race. And I was like, why? Why is there this pressure that I'm being given to marry outside of my race, or even marry outside of my ethnicity? It was very frustrating to me because no one ever explained to me the reasoning behind that. And I looked at the people who were telling me to do that, and I was like, I don't get it. You're content with who you're with, who happens to look like you, same skin tone and all that, and you're telling me to do something. Maybe they're telling me to do it because I don't know, but you seem happy to me with your choice, and I should be entitled to have my own choice and not have all this pressure to choose something that I don't want.
Yeah.
Even Candace Owens had a phase where she said she was dating Asian men consistently, and now her husband is Caucasian. So she made her choice. And I don't know, I just think it's very frustrating, the idea. Do you feel like social media or society in general pushes on to us what kind of person we should marry as far as ethnicity and race goes?
I definitely do think that, of course, or else we would not be talking about getting away from it. Like, there are many pressures that come from many different sources. Now, there's a difference from when you take that advice and you act on it, but it really is frustrating because it does complicate dating. It's like, is my philosophy the same? Dating is already difficult enough, but then it's like, is my philosophy the same as this person's philosophy? There's an era in social media, maybe around circa 2015, 2016, maybe even a little bit earlier and beyond, where you have the F-boy era, where all the guys were just saying how trash the women are and they were treating women like trash. Dating during that time was just a bunch of cheating, and like, I was in high school during this time, so it's like I couldn't trust anybody because everybody's in their F-boy era, thanks to social media, where you'll see these stories on Facebook where the couples are fighting and then it goes viral that this one girl got exposed for sleeping with with his friend group and everything like that. So now everybody is making a movement based on that situation, and they're treating women differently, and maybe it doesn't happen in every demographic, but that's what was going on in my circle and in the social media population that I was a part of. And so now everyone's acting out on these influences. So it's like, oh, well, you should date like this, you should date like that, because you're trying to avoid the F-boy. Now you have these red flags that you have to look at, these lists that you have to make about what kind of guy you want to be with, because now the guys are just, they might lie to you just to be with you and leave you. Like, there's so much that goes into taking your eye off of what other people are saying to you. Oh, don't date him. He gives me this vibe. Once you're in the space of dating, he gives me this vibe, or he doesn't seem like, dating is such a big topic. Like, it's such a big topic, and there's so many factors, especially when you have outside instructions, outside influences. But when you act on those things, it makes it even more difficult. You have the F-boy era, and now we have the sassy man era, or we have the F-girl era, where we're trying to combat it and just like create this dating pool that's incompatible with each other, where no one likes each other, but they're trying to come together and date. Like, what are we doing? And then we're using these dating sites like Bumble, which sometimes does not give you what you can really just insert any dating site, and it doesn't give you like the full scope of the person. And we go in and some people are just like looking for a one night stand or whatever there, and then deep down inside we're expecting to find our match. Otherwise we wouldn't date if we didn't want to find our match. So there's so many conflicting influences that come from our society, and it's important to realize that dating relies on our society. We cannot run away from what's happening in our society when we are looking to be with the person. So in a way, I understand, like, when people are saying, oh, date outside this dating pool, whether that dating pool be date outside of rich people, date outside of poor people, date outside of your race, you can insert any characteristic there. People may say that because your personality match just might not be in that dating pool. But when you're not thinking about it in that perspective, it's like, now I lose what I have envisioned for myself. So dating is deeper than surface characteristics. It's deeper than immediate circumstances that a person may be in. It's deeper, and it requires more of a connection, especially when you're dating for marriage. It's deeper, and it requires more of a connection, because this person that you see today may not be the same person in 5 years, And how do you account for that when you have all this influence on social media where you don't have a meter? The problem is, if you don't have a meter as to what is real and what is fake, you will think, oh, a relationship like Jelena's is Justin and Selena. That is something that you want to attain because they look cute together. They've been together for years, and you're like, oh yeah, they've been together for years, but you don't know what goes on behind the scenes. So you start dating for the characteristics. As a male, you may want to date for the characteristics of Selena, based on how she looks, based on what you believe about her. Or as a woman, you want to date a man that's like Justin, based on how he looks, how you idolize him. And you go and you find that, and you get the thing in real life, and you're like, what the heck is this? This is not what I wanted. because you're looking at it from a surface level, or you're looking at it from other people's perspective, not taking into account that these people are also being influenced by different factors as well.
Wow.
Huh. It is such, like, dating. I love this topic because it is a big, big, big burger to debunk, for real. Like, there's so many things that goes into dating, and I do believe that social media has complicated it a bit more, for sure.
Well, I was going to speak to what you were saying. I was going to say that I thought about some of the, I know we're not talking about this, but I also thought about how they try to push on young ladies how girls are players too. There was a song about that. There was also this idea of hoe phase, and so they kind of, social media started pushing this idea that, these girls ain't loyal, and they're out here. If they're with you, watch your back. And I feel like this created a narrative amongst the young men that, if they got with a girl, then they have to treat her horribly because she's not loyal and she's probably sleeping around and trying to get with his friend and things like that. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, wouldn't want to be dating someone and there's no trust. What kind of relationship is that? You can't trust me because you think I'm in my hoe phase, or you think that, you know, I am playing you because I want something from you. I just want money. I just want you to screw me from time to time. I'm just using you. And I'm like, that is horrible. That, I'm like, who co-signed this? And a lot of those messages really frustrated me because I'm like, the younger ones are the ones, of course, who are going to be most affected by it because their minds are underdeveloped. So they're going to think that this is normal, is because it's been normalized. But, of course, being more mature and seeing this, I'm like, I see what's going on here. I peep game, y'all. I see what y'all doing. You're trying to turn our young ladies into whores before their time. I'm like, that's not fair. Don't do that to them. Let them decide what kind of young lady they want to be, what kind of guy they want to be with, and how they want that to happen, because everybody's love story is going to be different. And I do believe that there is someone for everyone. I believe that everyone is going to have that one person that they're supposed to be with, that the compatibility is just through the roof. It's like, hey, that's the person you were meant to be with. Sorry to break it down. And you're going to absolutely adore this person. You know what I'm saying? And, but that's just my belief. Some people don't believe in the whole idea of one person or soulmate. What do you think about that? I always get mixed responses to the idea of that you have that one person you're supposed to be with forever. And I believe in it. I believe that. And that maybe it's because, I don't know, maybe I'm biased because I want to be with one person. That's my preference. But I do believe there's one person. What do you think?
I believe that there is one person. I, for one, feel like I found my one person, but it took a lot to get there. I mean, maybe a lot of people, yeah, but like it took a lot to get to a space where I was actually matured and understanding of what a real relationship is, because I ingested entertainment like it was air. I love entertainment. I love watching TV. I love being on social media and seeing different life stories and perspectives and all the drama that happens between couples. I was watching Flavor of Love and all of these shows, and I'm like, The Bachelor, all of this stuff. Like, I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. And I didn't know that dating could look like that. So, of course, like, I was like looking for my person through all of these people because I'm like, I want my one person, but you can't just like find that one person and work with that one person from the beginning, which was what I actually believed. I'm like, well, it's just about finding the person rather than finding myself first, and understanding that a relationship is more than finding the right person. So my own personal life mimicked that that whole process is looking through dating a lot of people in order to find the one. And really, it's about when you find somebody who you feel comfortable with, who you feel compatible with, work on that relationship. You don't need to, oh my God, there's this thing going around, like all the red flags, like you don't need to see one red flag and that's it. And it depends. Like, I do think that you should have discernment when you're dating, but your discernment should not be based on crazy little red flags. Like, oh, I see this on Facebook all the time. If he has a 9 to 5, red flag, because that means that he's not getting any money. Or, oh, if he it's just like random little things, like, oh, if he doesn't drop the toilet seat down, red flag. Like, it could be a joke, but also, like, I've met people who will be single because they decide that that should be a red flag. Like, literally social media influencers who are single and who are like, oh, I'm celibate for 10 years because I can't share a bathroom with somebody because they built their life on a certain image, or maybe they have some kind of, you know, they have something that, like, OCD, that keeps them from wanting to be around people, but sharing that online just impresses other people's mind. But yes, when it comes to dating multiple people, I'm not about the open relationships. Like, I thought about it before and I'm like, that's a response to not feeling like I'm finding my soulmate and not believing that my soulmate was out there at that time. But I always wanted one person. And I do believe that you can be with one person forever, especially if you both are willing to work on it. So let's be real. Social media is never going to show you the behind the scenes. It's only going to show you the surface level when you're having those good moments, or for some people when you're having those really dramatic turning points in your life, right? When you're in a relationship, you're going to have those moments that define your relationship, where you have to have a deeper knowledge of love, a deeper knowledge of acceptance. That acceptance and that depth that a soulmate relationship or a marriage requires, you won't see that in an image. And you have to realize that. You have to know that. You have to surround yourself with information that is constructive to a real relationship. You're going to find that from psychologists. You're going to find that from therapists. You're going to find that from books, the how to have an actual healthy relationship, how to actually be a healthy person, how to set healthy boundaries. These are things that are needed in a real relationship that you're not going to find in that picture of that couple in Bora Bora who's just doing it to earn brand deals. You're not going to find that. You're not going to find that in a relationship like Krishan Rock and Blueface, where they have all these shows, they're showing off all their jewelry, they look cool, and literally they're toxic as ever. And you're like, oh my God, that's such, like, you think there's something deep about that. Like, I can tell you, as a teenager, I probably would have thought that something that intense would be like, oh, they're soulmates or they're soul tied, and they're like this because their love is so intense and they don't know how to express it. And it's like, no, that's just a toxic relationship that's being glamorized and sold by Hollywood. Like, calm down. So you have to develop that discernment. You have to develop patience. There's so much that goes into real relationship. And if you're not dating to be married, then why are you dating at all? Like, I mean, just say what it is. If you're in your whole phase, there's nothing wrong with being in whole. Or actually, yes, there is something wrong with being in your whole phase and just sleeping around, because it's unhealthy. First off, like, you're not gonna find love. Like, just, I don't even know. I can't even touch that topic because it's just like, I don't get it. So I don't think that that's something to aspire to be or aspire to do. Like, multiple partners and just letting loose. I mean, I can't. Like, it's just another thing. But yeah, back to what I was saying. So yeah, like, think deeper about dating. Don't, to any young person, don't look at people on TV and think, that's what I want. That's the perfect match. That's the perfect love. It's a storyline.
Right. I'll say, just to add to that, that life gives you what you are. And I feel like a lot of times what you're looking for, life will give you exactly what you're looking for. And I say that because my faith also plays a role, a major role in a lot of things that I do. It plays a role in what I'm looking for in a person. Um, and I have found that in this day and age, I used to say that it's very complicated to find what you're looking for and things like that. But I think that, if you're looking for something specific, you're gonna have to be patient, number one. And number two, you're really gonna have to shut out social media and people's opinion, because sometimes specificity can be very different from what people are used to. And the way you need to be loved, you know, it's sometimes it's that specific thing you're looking for. And then also there's the fact that they talk about how we all have our love language, and I believe to a certain extent in the whole love language thing. I think it's pretty cool, and things like that. But it's just to say, don't put too much emphasis on what you're hearing out there and what people are saying, because your experience will never be theirs. And I believe that everyone's experience with love or being loved by someone, that one person, it's going to be different. And it's going to be a unique and special experience between you and that person. And don't try to recreate what you're seeing on TV, what you're seeing on a show, or what you heard about this couple or that couple. Oh, I want to get engaged just like that. And then there's all these false expectations that breed disappointment. And then I think that also all of these false expectations are what leads to people to, divorce, or walking away from a really good relationship, and then later on regretting it and saying, wow, he was a good guy. He used to bring me flowers and he would open the door for me. And, those things are not dead. Those things are still very much alive. There are true gentlemen who are still out there. Oh, he doesn't want me to work. He wants to be the provider, things like that. There's also that whole back and forth on who wears the pants and things like that. I'm like, please throw all of that away and just let things flow naturally, you know? But we could go on and on talking about this. I definitely think we need a part two because it's so good.
Yes. Part two, part two, part two.
Okay, so it's done. Part two is in full effect. But we're going to stop right here. This has been part one of A Valued Girl, hashtag de-influencing your dating life. Guys, comment below. Ladies and gents, please put your 2 cents into this. Let us know, what are you looking for? What does a healthy dating lifestyle look like to you? What do you think about what we talked about? What do you want us to talk about next when it comes to dating? And thank you so much, Key, as usual. Thank you for dropping some gems and gracing us with your wisdom. But we're gonna stop right here. This has been another episode of No Cap Just Raw. Thanks for rocking with us. We love y'all. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. If you're looking for my girl Key, she is on Instagram. She has a YouTube channel. It will be below, and it will be at the end of this video. Key to you. Give her a follow, subscribe to her channel, and we love y'all. Bye.